Hi, everybody. All eyes on the Gulf of Mexico this week as a tropical storm or a hurricane looks likely, and it looks like it will make landfall in the United States. Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice. All eyes on what will become Helene later this week, and I'm going to give you all the details on where this thing could be heading. So if you're new to this channel, please let me know where you're watching from. Like this video and subscribe to this channel. I like to give you early warnings of where anything could happen. And as you can see from the screens around me, we're in monitoring mode right now, and the chance is getting higher that we will be dealing with yet another tropical system that could make landfall in the United States. And some of the models do show a hurricane as we go into this upcoming week. So I'm going to let you know all that I know right now and what we're tracking as we move on through. So please, again, let me know where you're watching from. I like to go back and look at the comments and kind of see where you're at. It helps me tailor a forecast for you, okay? So right now there's just a bubbling up of juice, so to speak, here in the Caribbean, allowing for this very conducive environment that's in the tropics to give us a chance. There's multiple areas we're watching, which we're going to go over here, but the one that poses the greatest threat to the United States is this one right here. You can see it's that moisture that's bubbled up in the Caribbean will move toward the north this week, and depending on where a front lies will dictate where those impacts go. So let's try to break it down for you. A couple of areas we're watching. Right now, there is nothing to even really track. There's no consolidated lower pressure. There's just a bunch of moisture, a bunch of rain that's going to try to organize as we go throughout this weekend into early next week. So here's what I know right now. It looks like Tuesday night, Wednesday is kind of our go time for something forming. Now, we could start to get some advisories at this point, or maybe even Monday, as it will be a potential tropical cyclone. But it doesn't like until we get into Wednesday afternoon we even have anything to track. And it's a week guy, or I should say gal, Helene. Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, we've got 998 low. That's a pretty sloppy tropical storm here, but nonetheless, something's forming down to 993, 996. This is getting closer to probably hurricane status as it moves toward the north on Thursday. The models are going back and forth on the timing, but I tell you, the time frame has sped up about 24 hours on both our American GFS and our European model, which means impacts for Florida, are you watching from Florida right now? Let me know. Could begin as early as Thursday night, Panama City Beach, Destin, and then heading over toward Mississippi and Alabama's coast. So New Orleans, basically anywhere in the Gulf Coast from Sarasota, Tampa through New Orleans needs to pay attention to this system. Landfall in any of those places will be possible. Thursday night, Friday is now the time frame instead of Friday night, Saturday. So makes landfall likely as a Cat 1 on this European model Thursday night into early Friday morning. Then it's making its way to the north, where it will bring those impacts into Georgia and Alabama. Here in the Carolinas, we'd get some rain and some wind, but it wouldn't be severe. We'd have a very wet Friday for us, which would give us the potential for some wet weather here on the American model, but it wouldn't bring severe weather to the area. Let's look closer what this would mean for wind gusts. Let's look at the peak wind gusts along this. As you can see on this GFS model, we got 60, 64. So some of those areas do get up to tropical storm status, and the gusts get into the western Carolinas as we get into Friday afternoon, could be 40, 45, 50 miles per hour on this American model. So nothing severe, but certainly enough to give us some impacts for a Friday, which unfortunately would mean impacts to football games. We've been there, done that this year, right? Not again. I don't want to play that game again, but it looks like Friday could be an impact to many across the southeast with at least some rain. Let's look closer at the precipitation, just how much could we have? According to this GFS model, we'd have 2 to 4 inches in Greenville to Charlotte to Atlanta. Southwest of Atlanta could have the 4 to 6 inch mark. So this would be steady rain. It'd be beneficial rain, honestly, to some drier soil that we've had here lately. So this is rain we can take. This is wind we can take in the western Carolinas. But a landfall near Destin or Panama City, then moving north on this GFS. Let's unpack the European model, okay? This is another one of our reliable computer models. At least they're getting better consensus right now, because it looks like the other day you had one going right toward Florida, you had another one going toward Texas or Louisiana. At least they're honing in on an area of impact and a day of formation. This European is sitting here around Thursday morning formation. It's a bit more to the west, which is why I tell you New Orleans, through Mississippi and Alabama need to pay attention. It's about 100 miles west on this, but at least the time frame is the same with Friday as a landfall, and the impacts look to be a bit farther to the west on this European model as well. So let's look at what those specific impacts would be. First, with the wind, max winds at landfall would be very borderline even tropical storm, 40, 45 miles per hour. We'd have some gusty winds up through Atlanta. In the Western Carolinas, 25 to 30 miles per hour. So a weak, sloppy tropical storm or a tropical depression looks likely on this European model. So how about the rain? The rain with this European model would be a little bit more at landfall because it's a little bit more of a sloppy system. It'd be 6 to 8 inches from Panama City Beach west through Destin. Then you go over here toward New Orleans, 2 to 4. In the Western Carolinas, like Greenville, Greenwood, an inch maybe 2 on this computer model. So that's kind of the way things are looking right now. I'm going to show you an average of our computer models. This is kind of an average of all the 51 different runs of the European. It's showing generally 2 to 4 inches from Greenville to Atlanta, with 4 to 5, maybe 6 at landfall down here. And again, the European keeps it weaker, so not nearly as much wind, but it keeps it more sloppy and kind of elongated. So many more people get impacts as far as rain is concerned. GFS much farther to the east. All of the different 26 or so runs of the GFS want to hook it right near the Big Bend region, kind of taking a track like this. So Cedar Key, surrounding areas. I know many of you in Central Florida are watching right now. 2 to 4 inches for Orlando. Disney plans. I know many of you got Disney plans. That seems to be a common question I always get. What's Universal going to be? What's Disney going to be? Well, it'll be rainy on Saturday, clearing up by Sunday. This GFS model wants to keep a lot of that action going toward Florida. Many people's fall breaks are coming up, and hey, we've got to watch it. We've got to watch it closely, and this is the channel for that again. So, folks, please, I've got all the tools to keep you posted. Any kind of advisories, warnings, watches, we'll keep you up to date. That system out toward the Atlantic that has the highlight to the top part of my screen right there, it doesn't look to impact the United States. It will form and then kind of fizzle. So we'll likely get 2 additional names this week. But, hey, it's just par for the course here as we are near the peak of hurricane season, plus or minus 10 days. So as we get into October, those fronts get more prevalent. Hurricane season starts to dwindle as we go week by week. But right now, we're in the thick of it, folks. So to be expected to have tropical formation. Looks like another impact to the United States looks likely. So again, folks, please, if you haven't already liked this video, subscribe to this channel. My stick is to keep you posted around the clock. When it's severe weather, I want to give you the information, the tools you need to keep you and your family safe. I hope you all have a great Saturday and a blessed Sunday.